Here's a weird question. Do you actually know what you look like? Not your reflection in the mirror. Not your filtered selfie. Not the curated profile pic you spent 20 minutes choosing. I mean, do you know how you see yourself? Because thanks to social media, that internal mirror, the one we use to shape our identity, has gotten seriously warped. Today we're exploring how social media changes the way we see ourselves, how platforms turn us into performers of our own lives, and what it does to our sense of identity, self-worth, and even reality. If you've ever looked at your own photo and thought, is that really me? Or if you've caught yourself editing more than just lighting and angles, this is a conversation you need to hear. So let's hold up the mirror, not the one in your camera app, but the one that shapes your mind. Let's begin. Long before Instagram, TikTok, or Snapchat, we already had a mirror self. Psychologists call it the looking glass self. The idea that we shape our identity based on how we think others see us. It's like we carry around a mental mirror made of other people's reactions. We imagine what they think of us and then we start becoming that imagined version. It's not fake. It's part of how humans build social identity. But here's the catch. It used to happen in face-to-face situations. Family dinners, classrooms, friend groups. But now, that mirror is 24/7, algorithm-driven, and public. Social media didn't create the mirror self. It amplified it. Think about how we present ourselves online. We choose the best lighting, the most flattering angles, the cleverest captions. We filter. We crop. We rehearse what's supposed to look spontaneous. And after all that, we upload and wait. For likes, comments, shares, validation. Slowly your profile becomes a character. A digital version of you that you curate, optimize, and perform. And the more people respond positively to that version, the more it becomes your new identity. You are what you post, or at least it starts to feel that way. The danger? You might start ignoring the parts of yourself that don't fit the feed. Here's where things get tricky. Social media creates feedback loops. You post something, it gets a reaction. That reaction makes you feel good. So you post more of the same. Eventually, your online persona becomes shaped by what gets the most engagement, not necessarily what's most you. If a selfie in a certain outfit gets more likes, you wear it more. If a joke flops, you stop joking. If vulnerability doesn't perform, you stop being vulnerable. It's subtle. But over time, your real self starts bending toward what works for the algorithm, or for your audience. You're not lying. You're adapting. But the cost might be authenticity. Let's talk about filters. Not just the obvious ones that change your eye color or blur your skin, but also the mental filters we apply to our lives before we share them. The filter that says, only post if you look good. The one that says, delete it if it doesn't get likes. The one that whispers, be more like them, they're doing better. These filters aren't just cosmetic. They shape our beliefs about what's acceptable, lovable, or worthy of attention. And that creates what researchers call self-objectification. When you begin to view yourself as an object to be seen, rather than a person to be felt, you become your own audience. Always watching. Always editing. Social media has given rise to a phenomenon called the curated self. This is the version of you that exists online. Not fake but filtered, planned, polished. You're still being you, but you're choosing which parts to show, which parts to hide, which parts to amplify. This curated self isn't necessarily harmful. It can be empowering. Lets you tell your story, shape your brand, even express yourself creatively. But it can also be exhausting. Because the more energy you spend being seen, the less time you spend just being. When you always have to look like you're thriving, it becomes hard to admit when you're not. Here's where the mirror really starts to crack. When you spend hours scrolling through other people's curated lives, your brain starts comparing. That person's relationship seems more romantic. That friend's body looks more sculpted. That stranger's vacation is more exciting than your entire year. Even if you know it's filtered, even if you know it's performative, it still hits. Because your brain doesn't compare logic. It compares images. And it usually picks the worst parts of you to measure against the best parts of someone else. That's how comparison culture fuels insecurity. It turns the inner critic into a full-blown identity crisis. Many of us now live a kind of double life. There's the online version, cool, funny, filtered, confident. And there's the offline version, complex, emotional, sometimes messy. The gap between these two selves can grow wider and wider. And when it does, it creates something researchers call identity dissonance, a psychological tension between who you are and who you're expected to be. This can lead to anxiety, burnout, even depression. Not because social media is evil, but because we weren't built to perform our identity constantly for an invisible crowd. For those who grew up with social media, Gen Z and beyond, the mirror self starts forming earlier and harder. Teenagers today don't just develop self-image through friends and family. They build it through likes, follows, and online engagement. And when your sense of identity is forming, that external feedback becomes internalized fast. This is why younger users often report lower self-esteem, higher anxiety, and greater pressure to be perfect. The mirror they're using isn't reflective. It's distorted. Now here's the twist. Social media isn't all bad. In fact, for some people it helps them find themselves. Posting can help clarify your values. Seeing how others respond can build community. Sharing your story might give you a voice you didn't know you had. It all depends on how you use it. When social media becomes a tool for expression, not validation, something shifts. When it becomes a place to connect, not compare, it empowers. You can use it to explore identity, challenge norms, and build confidence. But it starts with asking, am I posting to be seen, or to be myself? So how do we use social media without losing ourselves? Here are a few mindset shifts that can help without needing to delete your accounts. First, notice when you're curating too hard. Ask yourself, am I sharing this because it's true or because it'll perform well? Second, spend more time being than broadcasting. Go on a walk without posting it. Hang out without filming it. Let moments be for you, not your audience. Third, diversify your feed. Follow people who are real, unfiltered, and different from the standard image of perfection. And finally, reflect offline. Meditate. Talk to real people. Remind yourself that your worth isn't measured in metrics. Your mirror doesn't have to be digital. You can rebuild your inner one. Social media will always offer a version of yourself. The question is, who gets to shape it? When you take back ownership of your image, your real image, not the polished one, you become less dependent on external feedback. You realize that confidence isn't about being seen perfectly. It's about seeing yourself clearly. So maybe it's time to clean the mirror. To stop editing yourself out of your own identity. To remember, who you are offline matters more than how you appear online. At the end of the day, we all want to be seen. We want to feel known, understood, accepted. But here's the truth. You don't need a filter to be lovable. You don't need likes to be valid. And you don't need to perform to be real. So next time you're scrolling or posting or overthinking a caption, pause. Ask yourself, am I being honest? Am I being me? Because the best version of yourself isn't the curated one. It's the one that shows up, messy, honest, real. Thanks for watching. If this gave you something to reflect on, give it a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more deep dives into the science of modern minds. And remember, you're more than what people see. You're who you are, even when no one's watching.